I'm a hopeful member of this intentional community at Lightning Ranch, and I have been doing composting toilets for 2 years. So I'm going to show my process on composting toilets, and we'll let the members at Lightning Ranch vote on how they want to do it. So I usually use a toilet brush that has a removable end, but I don't have one here, so we're makeshifting to do this video. So I found a nice mesquite, probably wood, or some other kind of juniper probably. And this is my old goat washing rag, so it's half the size of one of those square ones you get at Walmart. And I tied it on with a grocery bag because I don't have an elastic to put on it. So we have used an elastic when we haven't had ends on our end to wash with just a rag, and it works. So bring your bucket, and you can bring your compost at the same time as you come down to work at the garden. So all the compost gets dumped in the big pile at the front of the garden, and all of our here and covered. So we're going to show you the process on how this works. So typically there would be a bucket here with toilet paper. I forgot to bring my toilet paper because I clean the outside of my bucket with toilet paper because I like it to be nice and clean. It makes me feel like it's sanitary. And I forgot that, so we won't be cleaning the outside of the bucket today, but I literally just spray the outside of the bucket is the first thing that I do so that anything on it can soften up. I have this handle on here to hold the bucket while I walked, and you kind of do have to pull it on hard to get it over, so the handle has to be at the front of this lid, and you just pull it on tight so you can carry it, and then carry it with, if you're carrying something else, with it to the back, because if you have something on the front, this just seems to fall off. And so I take my lid off and I spray it good, and I'll have to go get a little stick because sometimes these get dirty in that ring, and I just use a little stick that's laying around to clean it out and throw it in the compost pile. This is 50% apple cider vinegar and 50% water. You can use any kind of vinegar you want, but I like the raw apple cider vinegar because it has microbes in it to help destroy everything. It just helps the process. We're supposed to have a bucket of water. There should be a little bucket here with toilet paper and disposable gloves if you want gloves. I don't worry about gloves. I'm pretty good about not getting it on my hands, and if I do, I just spray it with the vinegar. Nothing's going to live in vinegar. And usually there's a water bucket, 5-gallon water bucket that'll be sitting over here by it, full of water that you can just use. I keep a lid on the water bucket so that it doesn't get mosquitoes in it and so that it doesn't get green and nasty. So this system will slowly evolve because I'm just actually doing an on-the-spot setup of what I want. So I put this here so that the end of our stick, until we get a real toilet cleaning brush setup that works, is here so that it doesn't get dirt in it, because then it doesn't clean well. So that'll be here until we get the real one, the shovel that we'll need to cover. So here's my bucket. I personally separate my urine and my feces because it makes for less stink, and I don't have to empty it quite as often, because here at the ranch they allow us to distribute our urine outside on trees away from stuff, and you don't want to always dump in the same spot because you don't want it to smell up. But you can literally just dump your urine with no dilution on those trees around your place where you're living. But this is my feces and my toilet paper, so I'm going to dump it on my pile, and I'm going to go back as far as I can for the most part. Whoops, this is the nasty part of the job. Don't go so far to the edge. So I had to put that back on the pile, and now I'm going to cover it. So I literally, you don't need too much dirt, except you do need to cover everything. So, because that's what reduces the smell of the human manure pile. And so maybe it's good to have a day when we do this, so we only have to use the dirt to cover one big pile instead of a bunch of dirt on all the little piles. It also makes it a little more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm really particular, and I want to make sure that anything that might smell or show is covered, so it just looks like a compost pile. So there it is, that's done. And now I'm going to clean my bucket. So this bucket's a little dirtier than normal because it's one that was originally used in the building of an earth bag house, so it has clay on it. So we're not going to get all that clay off, but you should be able to get, if you empty your bucket regularly, everything off of your bucket. If you do it like twice a week or maybe even once a week, depending on how liquid it is. So now I'm just going to dump the water. This will help keep the compost pile moist so that black soldier flies and other wonderful cleaners can come in there and live. Now that I got the first rinse out, and see, so I'm not using very much water at all. I need my stick that needs a new home. So now I just take my stick and I wash. And so stuff would come right off the side. If there was stuff on the side, sometimes when we have loose stools, it collects. So make sure that when you start your bucket, that you have about an inch or so of wood chips in the bottom, because it makes this cleanup really easy so that all the feces just pour right out. So we're gonna say that's good. I do the top and around the lip a little bit. And now is when I would take my toilet paper. So this stick will just go right back to its spot, which is not gonna be here now. And do my lip right around here so that when I pick it up, I'm not touching a bunch of stuff. And then I swirl it around and I move the bucket around to make sure I get everything off the sides. And I hold the handle, make sure you hold the handle so you don't dump stuff on it so it's not nasty. Dump it in your pile. And then I spray it with vinegar. This is half vinegar and half water. And if I need to, I can do the outside again if it's dry. And if there's more feces still in there, then I scrub it again. And then I'll dump my water in so that I can rinse off this stick a little bit so it's not just disgusting. And rinse it. I mean, if everything's clean, you don't have to do this step. But if you still have a little bit of stuff, you do that one more time. And swirl it around if there's not stuff just stuck in the water. If it's all just down in your water, you can just dump it quickly. You don't have to swirl it around the bucket. But again, see, I'm holding the handle as I do it. And now you spray it one more time and clean your lid with toilet paper, which I didn't bring up. And I'm more generous with this vinegar water because it really helps kill any odors that may have started coming. Cover the bucket so it doesn't get nasty. And then I would have wiped both sides of this with toilet paper. I always start with the lid top front, then this one, then I do this, then I do this, because that's the order of nastiness. And sometimes you need more than one roll of toilet paper, and I really just wad up some toilet paper in my hand and wipe it off, and the toilet paper goes in the pile. And so I probably shouldn't have covered that pile till I finished my toilet paper, but if you forget, you can just dig a little hole with a shovel and put it in and cover it up. And that's a clean toilet.